Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, we've got Pauly Milto in studio to talk about the upcoming baseball season and his expectations for this year's team.
And with just a few more matches left before the Big Ten tournament, does IU wrestling have enough steam left in them to make it to the finals? Find out right now on Hoosier Sports Night.
Good evening and welcome to a special Valentine's Day edition of Hoosier Sports Night. I am Stephen Walker. Beside me is the very talented and always amazing Meredith Streen. Meredith, how are you doing tonight?
Well, thanks for the kind words, Stephen. I'm doing well. And look at us. We got our Valentine's Day attire. You got some red. I got some pink. Yeah. But you know what I'm really excited for? The softball team. They went 5-0 just this weekend. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Funny you should mention that because IU softball is my Valentine. Huge
Very
weekend,
fitting.
like you mentioned, potential upset of a top 25 team, but we'll get that in a minute. Let's start with the other team on the diamond. After a long offseason filled with departures and new arrivals, baseball is back here at IU. Hoosier ace Pauly Milto joins our Austin Matricardi in studio to discuss the new coaching staff and the new season. Take it away, Austin.
After a 40-win season and a trip to the Austin Regional in 2018, the Hoosier baseball team will return to the Diamond this weekend when they travel to Memphis for a 3-game set. Ahead of the season opener, I'm joined by senior Pauly Milto. Pauly, thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
So a big story this offseason has been the coaching change. Chris Lamonis going to Mississippi State, Jeff Mercer coming over from Wright State. How has the shift been? Has it been smooth?
It's been very smooth. Everyone's bought in very nicely. Everyone's bought in all at the same time, so everyone's just been riding the wave, and it's been nice.
Justin Parker was a part of that coaching change as well. He's come on, and he's your new pitching coach. Has there been anything that he's been stressing as you guys get closer to the season?
I'd say his main thing is just emphasizing that everyone needs to go in and do their job, whether it's your lefty specialist or your starter. You know, give it your all until it's, you know, your card's pulled, and then the next guy comes in and they do their job, and it just keeps going down the line.
Last season, you were part of one of the best starting rotations in the country with John Stever and Timmy Herron. Both of those guys are gone to the pros now, and you're the veteran of the staff. How have you been handling getting some of the younger or less experienced guys ready for the season?
Just bringing them along with me, you know, kind of using my experience just to give them examples of how I would treat certain situations and how I'd go about my business, making sure their work ethic stays on top.
And with those guys gone, Stever started on Fridays, you started on Saturdays. A lot of people expecting you to be the Friday night guy, be the ace. How are you kind of preparing to take on that role?
Don't treat it really any differently, you know, kind of just do my job, make sure I give my team a chance to win every game. It's kind of my job to do.
What are some goals that you've set for yourself this season?
My goal is to just make sure I put my team in a position to win every game.
You guys set any goals as a team?
We just make sure to play our baseball, not so much focus on wins and losses, but rather make sure that we just go out and play the game the right way, make sure we're playing our game, and just keep moving ahead.
Pauly, thank you once again for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Pauly and the Hoosiers will open their season this weekend with a 3-game set against the Memphis Tigers on the road. Back to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Austin. Make sure to like the IUSTV Sports Facebook page and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports for updates from Austin and the rest of our IU baseball crew throughout the season.
A team loss can affect any performances moving forward, especially if you had a packed weekend like the IU wrestling team did. My co-anchor, Stephen Walker, takes us to the mat where IU found the spark they needed against number 25 ranked Stanford.
During a physical loss to Rutgers on Friday, head coach Angel Escobedo noticed some concerns in the attitude of his team. He sat them down Saturday, gave them a little speech, and assured them with the right attitude and mentality they can beat anybody in the country.
I said, look at how many matches and how many dual meets were upset last night. You know, I said, did we have one? And they said no. I said, well, tonight is a great opportunity to have that. You know, why can't we be the team to upset, you know, a ranked individual?
Escobedo's message resonated with the team as they got a lead early and never looked back en route to a 30-7 rocking of 25th-ranked Stanford. Kyle Lewig started IU off with a big 7-2 decision. Later, senior Jake Danishek upset his opponent at 157, and Bryce Martin continued his dominant tear with his second straight major decision. 3 consecutive Hoosiers would win via decisions before Buddy Conley defeated his opponent in sudden victory, igniting the crowd. Then it was Elijah Oliver's turn. Oliver put a huge exclamation point on the night as he pinned his opponent, the 20th ranked in his class, in the last duel of the night. Wilkinson Hall absolutely erupted, and Oliver was understandably overcome with emotion.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I couldn't really control myself. I was just so in the moment. It just was kind of a reminder to me that I'm still just as good as I was when I first came in here. It definitely was a big confidence booster. And like I said, I'm gonna use this momentum.
Indiana continues its slew of ranked opponents when it takes on 3rd-ranked Iowa Friday and 7th-ranked Minnesota on Sunday. But if they can hold on to this momentum, then they can continue to shake up the standings. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Stephen Walker.
While the Hoosiers are currently unranked, Escobedo is more than capable of changing just that. During his years wrestling for IU, Escobedo earned himself a national title and 3 Big Ten titles.
Well, it's February, which means it is officially softball season. After a 3rd-place finish in the Big Ten last year, IU softball finally got back to work with a packed weekend. The Hoosiers went undefeated at the FAU First Pitch Classic, outscoring their opponents 32-7, adding 2 victories by a run rule and an impressive 6-4 upset over the 6th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, their highest-ranked victory since taking down number 3 Michigan in 2011. The perfect 5-0 start is the best for Indiana since 1990. Those wins also helped catapult the Hoosiers to number 24 in the USA Today NFCA Coaches Pool, their first ranking in the pool since 1996. At practice on Wednesday, sophomore transfer Grayson Radcliffe talked about the aggressive mindset the Hoosiers need to continue their early season success.
We just need to go after whoever we're playing and just attack them full force, go at them full steam and not hold anything back. And I think now that we're ranked in the top 25 and people know who we are and they're taking notice, it's just our opportunity to go out there and play even harder and continue to prove what we got, because Indiana softball is going to be something special this year.
The Hoosiers will try and remain perfect down in Durham, North Carolina this weekend when they take on Syracuse and Duke in the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
In what many had deemed a must-win game, the women's basketball team traveled to Ann Arbor Thursday night to take on the Michigan Wolverines. The Hoosiers fell to the Wolverines, dropping their record to 17-9 on the season. They've now lost 3 consecutive games, and now they sit at 6-8 in conference play. The loss also puts more distance between the team and their first NCAA tournament berth since 2016. The Hoosiers will return to Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall on Monday to see if they can redeem themselves and face a ranked opponent in Rutgers.
And on to the men's side. After ending a 7-game skid with the huge upset against Michigan State in East Lansing, IU seemed to have slid back into their old ways. On Sunday, the Hoosiers dropped their 2nd straight game, this time to the Ohio State Buckeyes, 55-52. IU continued to struggle offensively, not hitting the 60-point mark for the 3rd time in their last 5 games. The Hoosiers travel up to Minnesota on Saturday to face a Golden Gophers team who are having their own struggles after dropping 3 straight of their own. However, Minnesota has been tremendous at home this season with an 11-2 record in the barn. With only 7 games remaining on the schedule, it seems like it's now or never for IU as they continue holding on to any remaining tournament hopes.
When Hoosier Sports Night continues, Juan Diego Alvarado joins us for another edition of One on One.
And we take to the court to see how the men's and women's teams fared in a busy weekend. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
Our Juan Diego Alvarado takes a look into what tennis means to one player miles from home. Juan?
Thank you, Meredith. Becoming a college athlete is quite challenging for some, but becoming a college athlete coming from another continent is even a harder task. Let's take a look at how IU men's tennis senior Antonio Cembellin became from an international Hoosier freshman into a senior and a great team leader in this, the third episode of One on One. Hello everyone, Juan Diego Alvarado here for the third episode of One on One. With me is Antonio Cembellin, Indiana men's tennis key player, star and figure. Antonio, thank you for being here today. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Antonio, what a trajectory. You've been here for 4 years now. You came as a freshman to this new medium, this new country, this new culture, and you have become a team symbol, a team icon, the team captain. Tell me about this. Tell me about your journey here as an IU player.
So I came to Indiana University, after having thinking about coming to America for almost 2 years, and I got the opportunity to talk with Indiana's coach, and everything worked out well, And when I was 18 years old, I decided to get in the plane, and cross the ocean and come here to the United States and to this amazing institution as it is Indiana University. So I came here as a freshman and always knowing what I wanted to study, biotechnology, and always knowing what I wanted to do and how much I like tennis, how much I wanted to enjoy this sport, and just thinking about how could I improve this program and help this team as much as I could, and these 4 years it's what I've been trying to do.
In these 4 years, you have had some remarkable matches. You have won some, you have lost some, but we're coming to the close, the final chapter of Antonio Cembellin as a Hoosier. Tell me, what's a goal you would like to complete before you graduate and before the season finishes?
Just helping the team as much as I can. And I come here every day to practice, and I practice as hard as I can, and I always try to lead as an example for all younger players that freshmen that came in this year, and also other players. And just here practicing every day just makes me play the match as hard as I can, and I'm gonna try to help the team as much as I can to achieve their goals.
You told me earlier this will probably be your last year playing tennis. Tell me, where will we be seeing Antonio Cembellin 365 days from now?
Yes, as I told you before, as you mentioned, this could be my last year playing tennis, and I'm gonna try to enjoy it as much as I can, And this past semester, I decided to follow my career path, trying to get into a PhD program, and I've been applying for it, and I did interviews last week, so I'm a bit stressed and nervous to see if I can get the opportunity to do what I love, which is science as well.
Hopefully you'll be as great as in science as you are in tennis. Thank you so much, Antonio, for being here today for the third episode of One on One. Antonio Cembellin. See you all later. Well, there you have it. Special thanks to Antonio and the men's tennis team for the interview, as well as our very own Austin Girardelli and Drew Fry for making this piece possible. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thanks, Juan. Remember, you can rewatch this episode as well as its Spanish version in both IUS TV's and Juan's Facebook and Twitter.
On Thursday, the IU men's soccer team announced their 2019 spring schedule. The schedule is highlighted by a trip to Mexico for a pair of games over spring break. The Hoosiers will also take on in-state rival Notre Dame at Grand Park, travel to Louisville to take on the Cardinals, and host Lipscomb at Bill Armstrong Stadium as part of the schedule. The Hoosiers will open up their spring season on Saturday, February 23rd, with a pair of games, hosting UIndy and Valparaiso at Mellencamp Pavilion.
The IU women's tennis team came into the weekend with a strong 4-1 record and was looking to build on their previous successes. In another 3-match weekend, the Hoosiers walked away with 2 wins and 1 loss. Indiana started with a 4-1 victory over James Madison, backed by strong performances from Natalie Whalen and Jelly Bozovic. The only loss of the weekend came against Notre Dame as they fell 4-3. IU won the doubles point, but the Irish were able to fight back late. Indiana ended with another win, this time dominating St. Louis 4-0. The doubles point and wins from Appel, McCamey, and Henry led to a swift victory. The team will be on the road this weekend with matches at Tennessee on Friday and at Kentucky on Sunday. Follow us at IUSTV Sports on social media for all scores and all the updates.
While love in the air is romantic, the love on the tennis court is not. Our reporter Drew Fry tells us about the back-and-forth record the IU men's tennis team is holding on to.
2 wins, 2 losses. 2 more wins, and now another set of losses. The IU men's tennis team is back to an even record after losing close matchups against Central Florida and Arizona State.
They know that every match is so important, and they're hungry to win, and so are we, but we just fell a little bit short.
The Hoosiers faced early deficits in both matches as they couldn't capitalize in doubles play.
I think the doubles point is a big point that really makes a big difference when you're playing some of the best teams in the country. Just starting down 1-0 in both those matches, I think, puts us at a very tall task.
Our doubles is getting better and better, and I think with more experience, we can definitely take that doubles point and we can, take that momentum and go from there.
5 individual Hoosiers picked up singles wins, but the team failed to mount comebacks, falling 4-3 and 4-2.
I think I just got to compete harder every single match. We can't take any team for granted. We got to get as many wins as we possibly can. And, the more experience I get, I feel like the better I keep playing.
The team will hit the road next week before returning home to kick off conference play versus Purdue. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Drew Fry.
The team is on a 2-game losing streak for away games, but they'll look to put up victories this weekend in Des Moines, Iowa against Drake University and Utah State.
If the weather is too cold for golf, you can either sit around and wait for it to get warmer out, or you can do just what the IU women's golf team did and go play somewhere nice and warm. The team traveled all the way to Puerto Rico to compete in the Lady Puerto Rico Classic this past weekend. IU's Mary Parsons finished the first round in a tie for 38th, but made a big move in round 2. She shot 1 over par to move her up to 12 spots to 26th, but after a tough third round where she shot 5 over, she would finish tied for 45th place. Erin Harper had the best overall finish for IU, shooting 3 over for the tournament, good for a 13th place finish, as well as she was named the Big Ten Women's Golfer of the Week. As a team, IU finished 12th out of 14 teams, shooting a combined 39 over par. The Hoosiers will be back out on the course February 24th and 25th at the Westbrook Invitational in Peoria, Arizona.
The IU men's golf team played down at the Hammock Beach Resort in Palm Coast, Florida last weekend, splitting contests against 4 conference opponents in Big Ten match play. The Hoosiers defeated Minnesota and Penn State while narrowly falling against Michigan State and Rutgers. Indiana currently sits at 11th in the Big Ten standings. The top performer for Indiana was Ethan Shepard, who went 2-0 on Saturday and 3-1 overall on the weekend. Brock Oxenreiter and Evan Gazer recorded 2 wins each on the weekend for the Hoosiers. Indiana will have about a month off before resuming play in Howey in the Hills, Florida, when the Hoosiers will compete in the Mission Inn Spring Spectacular at El Campeon Golf Course.
Well, that does it for our show this week, but don't forget to like our page, IUSTV Sports, on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports. For Stephen Walker, I'm Meredith Strewing. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.